Right, welcome, ladies and gents. So, further comment from James Gunn does seemingly still leave it open-ended that Ezra Miller can stay in the DCU. Also, seemingly discussing elements of other characters remaining as well. It's it's odd stuff. It is odd stuff. So, we'll dive into this today. I just want to take a quick second to say, hey, thank you all so much for hitting subscribe. I said in the last few videos, we've got about 50% of people not subscribed that are watching the channel. I'd love to have you subscribed if possible, because YouTube is absolutely wrecking the channel at the moment, and that would help me out quite a lot. I'm not going to lie, I don't really talk much like this to you guys, but it would be really good if you did. And each video that you see, do hit that thumbs up button if you like the content, or share it. It really does help the channel out. Furthermore, if you like the stuff I do here, there is an expansion to this kind of content on my second channel. It's called Mr. H Reviews Live Archives. I've put together a panel for live streaming called the H-Cast. It's a really interesting panel with diverse, not that kind of diverse, but diverse array of opinions. And they get clipped, so you don't have to watch a 2-hour stream. You can just watch individual opinions and pieces, topics, etc. Find the link to that down below in the description box. Love it if we could have that channel hit 10,000 subscribers by the middle of the year. But I digress. So James Gunn obviously revealed the DC Studios slate, right? It was the new DC universe, not the DCEU, not the DC Elseworlds. It was the DC universe, the DC Studios universe. And in that, there was a few things that were stated. You know, The Flash, one of the best comic book movies he's ever seen, he said. He absolutely loves it. Now, a lot of people would have said, well, that's just marketing speak. Sure, and I would ordinarily agree. However, there have been some strange things said, and this is one of them, which throws that into question as whether he may legitimately believe it is one of the best movies he's ever seen, and they may legitimately still be keeping Ezra Miller. So it's a bit out there and it's a bit odd, okay? And it's these kind of comments that confuse a whole bunch of people. Primarily because they were supposed to be going for a younger cast. Half these people aren't young. So it's a bit out there. It's a bit out there. Now, he addresses The Flash specifically in how it sets up the DCU. And in doing so, seemingly confirms that Ezra Miller is likely to remain. Also, as well, in that DC slate, he did say that Blue Beetle is actually part of the DCU, which is interesting because I've heard very good things about Blue Beetle from my sources. Very, very good things, actually. But check this out. Okay, so some slight spoilers for The Flash, but not a lot. The original plans for The Flash, it was basically, or the original plans anyway, was going to have The Flash softly reboot in the DCEU. Ben Affleck was going to be replaced with Michael Keaton. They were going to have Henry Cavill swapped out for Sasha Calle's Supergirl. It was going to close with the Trinity, mainly being women. Batgirl was going to be there as well. And then it was going to be like a Crisis on Infinite Earths movie. Affleck, Cavill were sort of going to return. But that was how The Flash was going to end anyway. A reboot, a soft reboot of the DCEU. Now that hasn't actually been scrapped, just as an FYI. Just what was going to follow it. Because what's happened now, alright, obviously The Flash has done loads of reshoots as well. So we know that. James Gunn and Peter Safran confirmed they've consulted on that movie. So they are using that movie as a setup for the DC universe. So that's interesting. Now, James Gunn answered a few fan questions on Instagram, including the notion that it's now going to that The Flash is going to reset everything. But apparently it's not. Apparently, The Flash is not going to reset everything. And will, from what we can see here, be part of the DCU. Nope. Flash resets many things, not all things. Some characters remain the same. Some do not. Now, if a character remains the same, does he mean that that is the character, the iteration of that character born from the DCEU? Or does that mean that that character is remaining the same because the actor is going to play him, but the version will change slightly. But it's still going to reboot it, but not in the way that we thought, right? So the Flash is still going to reboot the DCEU, and it will use it as the jumping off point to create the DCU. But some characters will remain the same. So the Suicide Squad will likely remain the same. We know Peacemaker's remaining the same. Waller's remaining the same. Those characters remain the same. We know that. But then we have this, right? So James Gunn and Peter Safran had a DC Studios press event on Monday. And he gave some more context. He says some things are like a rough memory of what happens in the DCU. Okay. So that's basically saying that some DCEU will remain canon, but some won't. But once we hit Superman Legacy, anything can be changed. How? What? Very strange. Now again, lots of people will still say that this is likely press talk because, The Flash is still coming out. It's coming out June 16th. But I honestly, some of this stuff, from what we know, from what certain actors have been saying, Zachary Levi, for instance, Jason Momoa, for instance, a whole bunch of actors, like Gal Gadot seems pretty happy with what's happening. She doesn't seem to care. There's a lot of actors that seem awfully comfortable with their position at DC. So saying that it, resets many things, but not all, and some characters remain the same, some do not. And their commentary on Ezra Miller, he's undergoing therapy, and, when he's good, we'll talk about what's best. It does sound like he could remain. From what we know about it anyway. But then I will say, that makes it even more confusing, because Sasha Cal's Supergirl, unless they do a prequel with Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, then, we've already seen where Sasha Cal's Supergirl goes. But the explanation that James Gunn gave of Sasha Cal's Supergirl, being this jaded character, grew up on a chunk of Krypton, very jaded, saw everyone she knew die, does sound like the Sasha Cal Supergirl from the leaks of The Flash. Because she's incredibly unlikable. The character is incredibly unlikable. So very jaded, quite nasty, quite cruel and mean with her power set. So it's interesting stuff nonetheless, but obviously as updates come out about this, I will be dropping them for you. But let me know what you guys think. Do you still think this is PR speak? Do you think there's anything in here? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Please do give the video a like, and please do share it. Thank you so much. Take care.